Hey, time for another out-of-this-world story from Cheating Secrets Podcast. Is my ghosted ex-wife possibly tracking me down? My original post was removed several times, but someone told me it was reposted somewhere. To rehash my original story for clarity, I posted a few months back about ghosting my ex-wife when I found out she was cheating on me with a coworker. I witnessed this firsthand by following her. After confronting her several times and getting nowhere, I mentally threw in the towel. My course of action was to leave her and ghost her completely. To be clear, we still had separate accounts and no shared assets, so I was able to do this cleanly. I completely moved out of the apartment we shared and moved out of the city to a parcel of land and a trailer I bought from a friend. When she came back from her trip, all that was left was a note and my wedding band. Since that time, my living situation has been great, and I've lived simply. As a remote worker in a technical field, I can work from anywhere and jump on a plane when needed, as long as I have good internet service, which fortunately I do. My intention was to sort myself out and contact a lawyer, but she beat me to it, and we had an uncontested divorce. Here's the problem. I bumped into a mutual friend a while back, and she mentioned that my ex-wife was outed at work about the affair. Things did not go well for her or the guy she was cheating with. I stopped her from telling me more because I didn't need to hear about it. She also said my ex still wants to contact me and get back together, begging for my forgiveness, etc. I didn't believe her, but she was adamant. I told her not to mention seeing me, and she agreed. I have no desire to talk to or see my ex again, but 3 days ago I saw her in a coffee shop in a small town near where I live. It's a recreational tourist area, but it's several hours from where she lives. This can't be a coincidence, can it? I almost stopped in for a coffee, but she was on her phone, so I didn't think she saw me. Since I now have a heavy beard and shoulder-length hair, she probably wouldn't recognize me. My reaction was to bolt like I'd seen Satan himself, and I left as quickly and stealthily as I could. I thought I was untraceable, but now I'm not so sure. Is my behavior normal? I'm considering talking to a counselor about this flight mode I get into when dealing with my ex. Up until this happened, I was content and living a great solo life. A friend suggested she might have hired a PI to track me down. Should I just leave it alone or hope for the best? Update 1. Just wanted to update on the situation with my ex-wife. I have rewritten this about 5 times to make it legible. As mentioned in my previous post, I was concerned my ex-wife was trying to track me down. I moved about 2 hours from where we used to live. I saw her last weekend in a coffee shop I frequent near where I live. I was suspicious it wasn't a coincidence she was there, but I left before she saw me. Update 1.1. I came back into town this past weekend to grab a few groceries and get a coffee at my usual spot, working on some documents with their free internet. After finishing, I left the coffee shop. As I walked towards my truck, I heard someone yell, "Paul." I looked across the street, and there was Kathy, my ex, waving at me. Armageddon had finally happened. I stood there in shock. She ran across the street, reaching out for a hug, but I instinctively held my arms out, palms up, and she stopped. She looked really hurt. She then said, "Paul, I have been looking for you. I heard you moved out here and wanted to see you. Can we talk?" I felt like a trapped animal, so I relented and said, "Okay, let's find a table and talk for a minute." She asked if we could go to my place, and I flat out said no. We sat on a bench outside a little shop. She started by saying how much I'd changed, how she loves my new look, my beard, blah blah. She complimented my physique, saying I looked fit. She was really turning on the sex appeal, and I had to keep my guard up. She apologized for the affair, saying karma hit her hard after I left. Her company learned of the affair, making things so unpleasant that she quit. Her affair partner, who had a fiancé at the time, got reprimanded and was moved to another position within the company. He blamed her for his situation, and she retaliated by telling his fiancé everything, which resulted in their breakup. She lowered her head a little and started crying. I just sat there, looking around, not knowing what to say. She straightened up and stared at me for a bit. I asked her what she wanted from me. She said she never intended to start an affair, that she felt drawn in by the politics and positioning in the company, and thought the affair partner manipulated her with his charisma and power. She stupidly thought she was using him as much as he was using her. She wanted to come clean with me, especially after I accused her of having an affair. She hated herself during that time, and the after-work drinking was her attempt to medicate the guilt. Right after I left, she felt foolish and alone, like her heart had imploded with loss. She immediately broke things off with her affair partner. Since I wouldn't contact her or talk to her, she felt she had to find me to see if she could make things right and start over. She knew we were divorced, but hoped we could have a clean slate. I just stared at her. Then I let her have it. I'm paraphrasing the conversation, but here it is. How dare you think you can just come out here and wipe away all the crap you caused? I'm supposed to forgive everything you did to ruin our marriage. I told you before, if you cheated on me, we were through. There is no forgiveness, no reboot of this relationship. You killed it. You destroyed what we had the minute you stepped out on me. How stupid do you think I am? I followed you one night and saw you go into a hotel together. I then realized I had been raising my voice and people were starting to notice. She started to sob. She grabbed my arm and I let her cry on my shoulder a little before nudging her away. She looked up at me. I deserve all of this. I know I do. Can you at least let me take you to dinner or something? I don't want to leave. I want to talk more. I want to make sure we have everything out in the open. I need time with you that you didn't give me before. Please, Paul. I know you may not want to hear this, but I love you so much. I didn't know how much I loved you until you left me and broke me, and I broke you just as bad. I can't forgive myself. I don't want to forgive myself until the day I die. She started hyperventilating and sobbing so badly that I pulled her up and hugged her. I know. I felt like that was the only thing I could do to calm her down. At that moment, I realized I did actually break her heart like she broke mine. We started walking and found a quiet path. Things settled down a bit. I then asked her how she found me and if she had hired a PI or something. She laughed a little and said no, but she thought about it. She had run into Stacy a couple of weeks ago and asked her how things were going. Stacy let it slip that she saw me. Kathy made her spill every single detail. Stacy didn't want to tell her because I told her not to, but she wouldn't let her go until she did. All she really knew was that she saw me here in town and that I lived somewhere in the vicinity. So Kathy started coming here on her days off to see if she could find me. She really blushed when she said that. I kind of chuckled, thinking, damn, Stacy can't keep her trap shut. We did go to dinner. We found a nice little place with a patio. I made sure we didn't drink anything. I didn't want any excuse for her to soften me up or claim she was too drunk to drive back. We actually had a good talk. Afterwards, I walked her to her car. She wanted to stay and pressed me hard on it, but I wouldn't relent. She hadn't been with anybody else since I left and swore up and down I was the only one she wanted. I told her no, it's still way too soon for me to go down that road. She begged to see me again, but I was non-committal. I gave her my new email address, but that was it. She wanted my phone number, but I told her no, as she'd just blow it up with texts and calls. She cried about that one. She said she would be back in town next weekend if I was interested. I didn't say anything to that. She said she would email me and tell me all the details of when and where. Before she left, I asked her point blank if she would forgive me if I had done the cheating. She sat there thinking and then said yes, she would in time, but only if we saw a marriage counselor or worked through the healing process with lots of talking and maybe even a binding agreement. I said, okay, maybe I could do that 5 to 10 years from now. She said if that's what it would take, she would wait. She then took my hands in hers, looked me in the eye, and said something that really surprised me. God damn it, Paul, I will always love you and will do anything to prove it. At that, she left. I'm still so shaken by that. She said it with such conviction. I still can't see myself getting back with her. I feel better though. Right now, I can't even see her as a friends with benefits. Maybe a friend, but damn, I just don't know if we could ever work out again. Don't call me a chump because second chances are rare in my book. I went home, had a nice long run, and a few beers, and felt I was in a good place. Now, can someone guarantee me that she won't ruin that? I don't know. I just don't know. It's too fresh on my mind, but I have the luxury of time to sort all this out and get some perspective. Update 2. Okay, so this will probably be my last update. I posted my story on Reddit, but the mod kept removing it. To recap, my wife did find me, and we talked after over a year of her being ghosted by me. Her intention in finding me was indeed to reconcile and restart our life together. To those that wrote to me predicting that I would be the typical beta blue pill fool and forgive her and fall back in with her, you will be sorely disappointed. She did write me a long email this past week, professing her love and regret for the affair once again. She wanted to come back out and spend the weekend with me. My response to all this was to shut her down. I have been perfectly content living the solo life for now, living in my remote location, and keeping my situation as uncomplicated as possible. I have enjoyed the company of several women and friends, and at 32, I feel there is no hurry in changing things up. I have my own self-determination roadmap, and I intend to follow it for now. In answering her email, I refused to give her my new phone number. I laid it all out. I told her no, I do not have any intention of reconciling with her. She made her bed, and I no longer trust her, nor do I know her any longer. I wish her the best and will consider her a possible friend, maybe someday in a future yet to be determined. My vagueness really frustrated her. She replied with something very telling. She was, of course, thoroughly disappointed in my response. But she also informed me that she had accepted a job offer several states away, and her real intention all along was for me to come with her. She knows my job is remote and I can live anywhere I choose, and she thought that I would consider coming with her, and in exchange, we would have a brand new start in a brand new location. She had little time left before she would be leaving, and wanted to see me in person, and put the hard sell on me. Fortunately for me, I have to leave for business for a week, so our time is up, thank God. She will be gone from my life now. I imagine I will get a few more emails for a bit longer, but in time, I believe she will realize her time with me has expired and she will have to find someone else. And she may cheat on them too. Just thought I would share the update. So, guys, live your best life, get rid of that old baggage, and empower yourself to move forward. Good luck to you all. Comments. Alright, let's get a couple of quick comments and call it a wrap. Insane Ike 22 starts us off. She found out what most cheaters do not or will not understand. The grass is dead when you cheat with another cheater. The whole relationship with cheaters is built on lies, deceptions, and ego. You are doing the right thing. Werewolf L84 says, good ending and good luck. Find someone new and enjoy your life as much as possible. But one thing I don't get is why she is so determined to find you after what she did. I missed the last part, so I didn't see her conversation with you. Can anybody fill me in on what happened in the last part?